feel like you're just drowning in all these self-help books. Like every single one is promising to like totally change your life, you know, with some big dramatic makeover.
Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah, it's overwhelming. It can be. But so I found this book and it's called, get this, Change Your Mindset. It's surprisingly easy, actually. Transform your life and achieve goals.
Okay.
And I don't know, even just the title, it kind of grabbed me, you know?
It does have a certain, yeah, it's catchy. Like you said, it's a breath of fresh air compared to some of the other stuff out there.
Exactly. So that's what we're doing. We're diving into this book to see, like, you know, does it deliver? Can we really rewire our thinking and become more successful without, you know, having to like sell all our stuff and go live in a cave?
Right, right. And for anyone listening who is already doing mindset work, we're going to be really digging into what makes this book different.
Perfect. Okay, so one thing that really jumped out at me right away was how this book, it tackles this myth that like successful people are just lucky. That whole right place, right time thing. This author, she's not buying it.
Yeah, she really dismantles that idea.
Mm-hmm.
The book argues that being successful is really tied to this one shift in your mindset.
Oh, interesting.
It's about recognizing that your thoughts are not just these like, you know, passing things. They actually have a real impact.
Whoa.
They actually shape your reality.
It's like that aha moment, you know, when you realize, wait, I've had the power to shape my own reality this whole time. And a big part of that, of course, is facing those like, oh, I don't know, those limiting beliefs.
Oh, absolutely.
The I'm not good enough or I'll never be able to and all that stuff.
Yes.
We all have them.
We do. We all have them.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to let them just kind of take over. But what I find fascinating is this book, it suggests we treat these beliefs, these negative beliefs, almost like they're clutter.
Clutter.
Mental clutter. Like, just get rid of it. We don't have to let it crowd our minds and like rent space in our heads.
I love that. Instead of just saying declutter your mind, which again, we've all heard a million times, I actually did what this author suggests. I wrote down every negative thought I had. And get this, it was about an upcoming presentation.
Wow.
And it was really effective just getting it out, you know, putting it on paper. It made me realize, wow, I'm giving these thoughts so much power.
It's amazing how just by acknowledging those negative thoughts, you know, really looking at them, it takes away their power.
Totally.
But it doesn't stop there. The book goes on to explain that our brains are actually incredibly adaptable.
Really, even if we've been stuck in these like negative thought patterns for years.
Even then, it's called neuroplasticity.
Okay, that sounds very scientific.
It is, but it's really cool. Just think of your brain, like imagine it's a muscle. And every time you work it out, it gets stronger, right?
Okay.
Like every time you make that choice, you choose a positive thought instead of a negative one. That's like doing a rep.
Got it.
And over time, even small changes, these small shifts in your thinking can actually change your brain, like rewire it.
Wow, that's wild. Okay, so we're essentially rewiring our brains for success one thought at a time.
Exactly. And it's not about, you know, pushing yourself to the limit. You don't need a massive life overhaul to see those results. It's more about being consistent.
So it's less about needing a big, like, you know, life makeover and more about these small changes, the little stuff we do every day.
Yeah, exactly. The book really emphasizes that transformation. It doesn't just happen overnight. You know, it's those small changes, but you got to be consistent. Those little shifts in how we think. That's what really makes the difference.
Which actually, that makes me think of one of my favorite parts, the mindset hacks. I love that part. They're like, what, little brain tricks?
Yeah, kind of like shortcuts, you know, to help rewire your thinking.
Right. I love it. Okay, so tell me more about these mindset hacks. Which one really stood out to you?
Well, one I've been using a lot myself is called the reframe hack. It's pretty straightforward, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you're having those negative thoughts. You know, the ones they just pop into your head.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Right. Well, with this hack, you consciously flip the script. You take that negative thought and reframe it into something more positive, something that empowers you.
Okay, so like, for example, instead of saying, ooh, I'm dreading this presentation, I'm going to totally mess it up.
Right, which we all do.
All the time. Instead, I'd try to reframe that thought, be like, okay, this presentation, it's a chance for me to connect with people, you know, to share what I know, like that.
That's a great example. Exactly. Because you're not trying to pretend you're not nervous, right? It's more about you're just shifting that focus, taking it away from, you know, the fear and the doubt. And instead, you're thinking about what's possible. It's a growth mindset, you know.
Which, speaking of, that's another thing this book really gets into. And it makes sense, right? This whole idea of a growth mindset.
It's essential. And there's a reason it gets so much attention, because having a growth mindset, believing that you can learn new things and get better, it's huge. It's how we embrace those challenges and actually achieve our goals.
It's like when you believe that you can grow, it's like those setbacks, they stop feeling like failures, you know? And they become more like, oh, okay, it's an opportunity to learn something here.
Exactly. And this really resonated with me. The book talks about how even the most successful people, I mean, they've all had setbacks.
Oh, for sure.
But what sets those people apart, they don't let it stop them. They take those setbacks and they see them as, a stepping stone, an opportunity to learn and actually use that experience to grow.
Which is so true. It's about having that resilience, that ability to get back up, even when things are tough, right?
Totally. But let's be honest, it's definitely easier said than done. Because those negative thoughts, they like to stick around.
Tell me about it. It's like they just keep coming back.
Exactly. So we all get those persistent negative thoughts. They just pop up. But what's important, and the book stresses this, is that we become aware of those thoughts. Don't just let them hang out. And then, this is key, we consciously choose to challenge those thoughts, like reframe them, like we were talking about. The book actually calls this a mindset detox.
Mindset detox. I like that.
It's like hitting the reset button.
So we're not just sitting around waiting for those negative thoughts to appear. We're actively looking for them. And then, boom, we reframe them right then and there. But okay, so that's our own thoughts. What about all that other stuff? The stuff outside of ourselves. That's got to have some kind of impact on our mindset too, right?
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head there. I mean, think about it. The people we hang out with, the people we're closest to, they have a huge impact on us, on our energy, how we see the world, everything. It's like this, I don't know if you've felt this, but...
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You spend time with someone who's always negative, always complaining, and you just start to feel it too, you start feeling down. But when you're around people who are positive, who support you, it's like, it's contagious, right?
Totally. You can't help but feel more upbeat, more optimistic when you're around those kinds of people.
And that's actually something the book talks about. They call it mindset spillover.
Mindset spillover. Okay,
Yeah.
I like that. It makes sense, right? Their energy, it's like it spills over into our own lives.
Exactly. I mean, we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
I know I have. Spend an hour with someone who's just bringing you down, and you walk away feeling drained. But if you're with someone who's positive and encouraging, you leave feeling energized. It's pretty powerful.
For sure. There's that saying, right? Like, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Exactly. That's it. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that you have to, cut off all your friends who have a bad day every now and then. Come on. We all have those days, right? It's more about just being aware. Like, what kind of energy are you letting into your life? And then making choices, conscious choices, to be around people who lift you up. People who inspire you.
So it's not just about accepting whatever comes our way. It's being proactive. We get to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So seek those people out, the ones who are good for you. Join a group, find a mentor, connect with people online even. The point is, be intentional. Surround yourself with those positive influences.
This has been, wow, such a good conversation. It's amazing how this book, it's got such a simple title, but it's full of these really insightful and what I love, practical ideas.
Right. It really shows you that changing your mindset, it doesn't have to be this huge, overwhelming thing. It can actually be pretty, easy.
Exactly. Like the title says.
Right. Like the title says. It's the small stuff, those little changes you make every day. Those are the things that really add up over time. It's about making progress, not being perfect.
I love that. And like anything else, it starts with taking that first step, right? No matter how small.
You got it. And speaking of first steps, the book actually ends with this really thought-provoking question. And I think it's a great one for all of us to think about. So here it is. If changing your mindset really was this easy, what's one small thing, one tiny shift you can make today to start creating the life you want?
Wow, that's a great question. It really makes you think, So to everyone listening, we hope you'll take a minute and really reflect on that. What's one thing you can do, one action you can take